To this day, everybody kind of just like stares at me and they're just like, "Oh, okay, you're famous. Okay. That's cool." So it's not like you got to think about it. It's not like you can't tell that person. It's like, no, you're not famous. Like you can't tell a person that's delusional that no, they're not famous. It's something that is real. So it's like, yeah, I'm famous. And you will be like, it's a delusion. You know that, right? And it's like, yeah, I know it's a delusion. But regardless, like I became famous one day. I woke up and I was just like, people were talking, the voices were talking, and I was just like just getting out my bed and it was just a regular day and I literally walked outside and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm famous." So I went through that whole shock of here's the cameras, here's this, here's that because now when you think about it, like you got to think about what fame is. It's like just think about the artificial type of fame where it's like people you have a talent and people appreciate you for your talent and then they start taking pictures and videos of you and you start to show off that talent in some way. So like when you think about it, what's our talent? It's just that we have a disease. Not many people have this disease and not many people go through the whole process of becoming famous. Like not everybody with schizophrenia experience fame. It's only a certain select few. So I started going into it. I was just like, you know what? There's artificial fame and then there's real fame. And what would those people with real fame do if they become, you know, famous through the world? Like the world recognized them as, these are famous people. Like we're recognized. You know what I mean? Think about it. Like it's written down. Like if you were to search this up and you would find out that people that believe that they are famous are called grandiose delusions. So it's a bizarre delusion that is not real and couldn't be real. But it's crazy that they named it like that because why would you say that it's not real and it couldn't be real? But this person is just like, you know what? I feel it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I woke up one day, boom, I'm famous. And it was very real for me. So how do I explain that? And they just explain it as you just have a delusion, dude. And it can never come true. And it's like, but it can come true, can it not? And then I started going back and forth to that. So I'm gonna explain that a little bit. I'm gonna go into depth about that. But yeah, there are people with schizophrenia that believe that they're famous. It's also with bipolar disorder. There's a bunch of mental disorders that explain what's going on. It's like it's just a mental disorder, but to that person, it is very real. Like you can't say anything about it. Like for me, I don't even know how to explain it. It was absolutely amazing. And like I woke up and it was after I was smoking weed and I was ingesting sash. And after that, I was just like, I was just blown away. Like I was just brought to this new world. It's like going to different dimensions. And that's why I get so passionate about it because I'm like, you guys talk about it in a way. You guys talk about it, but then you don't give credit to that person. That's what pisses me off. It's like, well, if this person is diagnosed as a schizophrenic and this person is like, well, I've became famous, why don't you respect that? You know what I mean? Like you kind of put it away and you're just like, no, they're just delusional. What if they were like, okay, so you become famous. Okay, so we have to start accommodating your life. We have to start seeing what you can do and what are your talents and stuff like that. What if they took it seriously? You know what I mean? Think about it like that. Like, what if they started taking these people that say that they're famous seriously, and they have a doctor that backs them up, and they have a history that backs them up, and everything aligns perfectly. So you can be like, okay, so this person is famous, you know, he has some talents. Like for me, for example, I write a lot, I can make videos. They're not the best videos. They're more explanatory videos than anything, and they run pretty long. Um, but I have like different ideas that I want to do, and it's like, all right, well, come back to us in like a year and let's see where you're at. When you think about it, it's kind of like that. It's already like that. The path is already set, but we don't acknowledge it as it is. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, this person is having delusions, so we are going to put him on medication, and then we're going to let him live out his life in peace. You know, we're going to give him a monthly check because we've seen the history. He can't really handle his delusions, and he has problems with the medication. And so we need to kind of isolate this guy and see where we can go with him. And if he's stable, you know, that's great. But if he still continues to have these like improper delusions, we'll see what we do with it. So they kind of already do that, where they're like, we'll check on you, we'll give you money, and we'll see where this goes from there. But they don't truly acknowledge it. They kind of put it aside. And that's where the oppression comes from. Because what would you do to a person if you wanted them to believe that they can't really do anything in life? What you tell them is that you give them false hope. You know, you're like, oh, here we go. Oh, I lost my train of thought. It's like, here we go. You are you're born, and then we tell you, oh, you can become anything you want in life. But then we bring you through school, and we're like, all right, your grades aren't good. You know, you won't be able to go to college. And then after you won't be able to go to college, nobody tells you, nobody tells you, they're like, yeah, you can still do anything you want in life. You can open a business, you can be an entrepreneur, you can work from entry level and make it up to the manager level and make six figures. Like they're constantly telling you, like they're giving you false hope. And then you end up on the street, and then you're just like, how did this happen? And I feel like that's a sort of oppression, because the truth is that you can end up on the street if you don't what's it called, perform well enough for these people to be like, okay, you're good. They'll clap for you, and they'll be like, all right, you can work a 9 to 5, that's great for you. Oh, you can work 12-hour shifts, that's great for you. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, you can do so many things. You can be a CEO. CEOs work 12-hour days and stuff like that. Or you can work a 9 to 5. Oh, okay, you can be a manager. Wow, great. But if you don't hit those quotas, they're like, all right, you can end up on the street. I feel like that's a sort of oppression, because, you know, like in Finland, they say that a person, it's a human right to have a house, but everywhere else, it's not a human right. You know, you have to work for it. And if you can't work for it, then they will kick you out on the street. It's like an oppression to the human species itself. You know what I mean? Like, we expect you to work, and if you can't work, then we will put you out on the street. And that's always in the back of your mind. So you're just like, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. I don't want to be out on the street. I want to live in my own house. I want to do this. I want to do that. And what they do is they boggle you down with a whole bunch of work. And you're doing all this work, and you never think outside the box because you're too scared to think outside the box, because outside the box is uncertainty. It's like, well, I can, if I think outside the box, I might end up on the street, so I'm never going to think outside the box. So it's a sort of oppression. And if you think about it, like Hitler with the Jews, Jews are they're just Jewish. They're making a bunch of money, and then this one guy is just like, they are hoarding money, and they are taking money from our society, and they're hoarding it for themselves. We shouldn't like them, and we should put them to work, and we should start killing them. You know what I mean? So that's one example of oppression. But I believe that there's an oppression of sick people, especially the ones that have schizophrenia and bipolar and grandiose delusions. I think that there's an oppression of those people because what they do with them, they give them money, and the money, they can't even afford a place to live with the money. Like, it's not enough money for them to live on, and they can't work. That's the big thing. Like, these people cannot work. They have a lot of trouble working. Like, for me, I have a lot of trouble working. Like, I cannot work. I'll explain that a little bit more in detail. But I have a lot of problems working, and if I didn't get a monthly check, I would be out on the street, or I would be dependent on my family. And my family, they're not going to give me a lot of money. They're only going to give me like $200 every 2 weeks, $400 a month. You try living on that. It's it's impossible. So if you think about it, it's an oppression of these people. If you think about it, like, if you're just sitting there like, wait, they can't work. Okay, so what happens when they can't work? Oh, they get a monthly check. Oh, that's great. But how much is the monthly check? It could be anywhere from $300 to $3,000. But they don't explain that most people only get about like 1,000 to $300, $500. That's all that they get. And you're just like, oh, $3,000 sounds good. So they should be living a happy life. And it's like, no, they're not living a happy life. Um, they Most of them only receive about $500 a month, and they can't work. So that's all that they receive. So they try to go back to work, and then they fail, and then they're just put into this system of like, you're not good enough, you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And then you're asking like, so what can they do? And it's like almost nothing. Thank God that we have technology now that allows us to speak out about certain things. Um, but a lot of people don't have the attention span to listen to a person when they talk about certain things. So it's just oppression, 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 because those people that can work, that can do the 9 to 5, that can do 12 hours, that can become a CEO, that can become a manager, those people don't listen. So it's just like, who's listening to these guys? Nobody is. You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about it, but they want to be entertained. They want to see something that's bizarre and out of this world. And it's like, oh, I kind of understand what happens to you, but they don't hear anybody else. They just want to hear the entertaining part of it. And that entertaining part, they're good. Like, there's this one guy that has schizophrenia, and he makes videos and audios about what he hears and what he sees. And he's like, this is a day of schizophrenic. And he sees like different people, different faces in the world, and you're just like, how are you able to function? You know what I mean? Like, you hear about the entertaining type of stuff, but you don't hear about everything else. And what if you did hear about, oh, this guy believes that he's famous? It's like, okay, that's great for him, but is he really famous? Like, what can he do? What can he bring to the plate? And if they're not being entertained, they're not going to listen. You know what I mean? So it's unfortunate. That's how everything goes. You can't really do anything about it. It's just how people work. And it's how oppression works. You know, nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to read, nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to create anything that will help anybody else out. You know, they keep this information to themselves and they don't say anything about it. You know, that's why I call it oppression, you know, real big on it, bro. I'm going to try to make a shorter video about it, but I don't think it's going to grab anybody's attention or anything. You know, some of my videos grab people's attention, but a lot of them don't. But this is not what I'm working towards. You know what I mean? Like I need to be more humble because if you think about it, it's like, bro, I'm already famous. You know what I mean? So it's like, why am I freaking out about anything? You know what I mean? Why am I freaking out about people not watching my videos and stuff like that? Just put it up, see who listens. You know, just calm down, bro. Just calm down. You're already there. Like you said, like you're sitting there like, oh crap, I already made it to I'm early to the party. Just be early to the party. Just enjoy the setup. You know what I mean? Just be there for the setup. Just be like, yo, bro, I'm just watching the setup at this point. I don't even have to do anything. It's a party. I didn't ask. You know, I just don't want to be, you know, put it like this. You're the type, you're early to the party, so you're just helping out with the setup. So you know how everything works now. So you're gonna be like, you know, there's a DJ, and I help the DJ set up his stuff, and it's a 500-watt speaker. He has two speakers, and he was telling me about the music that he's gonna be playing. He's gonna be playing a lot of hip hop, and I asked him if he could play some Weekend, and he's like, I'll try. So we might get some Weekend songs out there. You know what I mean? So you're there for the setup, but you will enjoy the party more, or you'll just leave early. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. You can stay for the party. You can think that it's a crappy party and you're just gonna be like, yo, bro, I'm not staying for this junk. Or you could be like, oh, this party's gonna be good. Most likely you're gonna stay because this is life. Like you can't do anything. You know what I mean? You're early to the party and all you're going to be doing is sitting there enjoying it. You know what I mean? So you could be that type of person that's like, I'm not gonna help set up. So you're just gonna be chilling there, just watching the setup happen. Or you could be that person that's like, I feel like I need to do something and help set up and have a hand in the party and be like, yo, I hung those balloons. Yeah, I was here way before you guys came. But that's how it was for me. I was just like, yo, I'm early to the party, bro. Like nobody even knows. I'm finally on time. Like I was so excited. You should have seen me. Like I was just like, yeah, yeah, I made it. I made it, bro. Like, like you should have seen me. Like I was just like, I was blown away, like blasted. Just imagine blasted. Just like hair is growing and I didn't get a shape up for months, bro. I haven't gone to the barber for months and my hair is just blown out of proportion, but it looked okay, but it wasn't shaped up, so it was a little crazy. And I was so skinny, all my pants didn't fit. My shirts were baggy. Like I was wearing medium shirts and they were baggy, like I needed small and I my waist was so small that my belt, I had to tie my belt to the last buckle. I was early to the party, but I was so effed up. It was interesting, bro. It was interesting. Like, I wish I could put like music. I've been thinking of getting a mixer. Definitely getting a mixer and playing some music. Get like YouTube music and play that. But I wanted to see what would happen if I played some YouTube music and then I kind of I put it on Rumble and I put it on TikTok. If I put it on TikTok, it's probably going to get taken down because TikTok is very particular with their stuff. Like, they hear music from somewhere else and they're like, this is somebody else's music. You can't put it here. It sucks. But it's going to be exclusively for YouTube. So I'm working towards it. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, dude, you're famous. Just relax. Just relax. Anyway, follow, like, subscribe if you made it this far into the video. You probably did not. It's okay. I don't know. I do this for my enjoyment at this point. I'm going to try to make shorter videos just to try to explain this long video and see where that goes. Oh, and then my Bluetooth, of course, doesn't work. You got to turn these things on. They turn off. I make 20-minute videos and this thing shuts off. Like, look at this cheap little thing. I just bought this stand from Best Buy, and it's a little desktop stand. I've been looking for these. It's pretty good, but it's made out of like, it's not even good material. Like, if it was made out of steel, like, this would be much better, but it's made out of plastic, and I feel like I can break the legs real easily. But yeah, that's it for today.